There used to be a saying, good phones are getting cheap and cheap phones are getting good, but I don't think that really applies anymore. I think good phones are getting really expensive, but cheap phones are getting really good. What's up, Lollipop? My name is Joe, and in today's video, this is the Poco M7 Pro 5G, Poco's latest and greatest budget phone that you can buy for $178. Yes, this phone is such a great value, my mind was blown away. Now, this is a budget-friendly phone. This is the budget category. And for $178, what do you get? Well, you get actually quite a lot. You get an AMOLED display, you get an underscreen fingerprint sensor, you get a 50 megapixel camera on the back, and you get a very complete package, in my opinion, from Poco. And it's something that's worth talking about. So let's see this phone. First of all, the unboxing. As you can see, this is how the phone comes in this beautiful yellow Poco Box M7 Pro 5G. It is a phone with Xiaomi HyperOS on it, and it has 12 gigabytes of RAM and 256 gigabytes of storage. Now, the unboxing experience is quite unique for such a cheap phone. You get a lot. In the box, first of all, when we open it, we have the paperwork. You have the SIM ejector tool in here, and you have the legal documentation, along with a case. And that's very cool to see that they actually add a case. Then you have the phone. This is the purple version. It's very beautiful. We'll get back to this in a moment. And underneath that, we have a 45-watt power adapter, which is crazy to see that we're still getting power adapters at this price range. Now, it is a USB-A power adapter, and the included cable is also a USB-A to USB-C, because obviously the phone has a USB-C connector in it. It's quite a good quality cable, and the whole package is very solid. As you can see, this is all the paperwork, all just legal mumbo jumbo. Now, the case is a simple case. It's a plastic case, very smooth to the touch, very nice flat color. I quite like it. Now, this phone is unique. It has a very nice back, and it is actually quite gorgeous. On the sides, you can see the volume rockers and the power button. On the top, you have an IR blaster, you have a microphone, and you have a headphone jack, which is really cool to see. On the other side, nothing. Then you have the SIM card tray, USB-C, microphone, and speakers. On the back, you have the dual camera system. On the front, you have a selfie camera, and they even include a screen protector right out of the box, which is very nice to see. When you turn on the phone, you will be greeted with Android 14 and the Poco logo, and this phone is running Xiaomi's HyperOS, which is pretty cool. Now, if we try on this case, this is how it looks. I am not big of a case person, but I have to say that it's quite a nice compliment on this phone, and I quite like it, even though it's a bit hard to put on. But once you have it on, it's gonna be very comfortable to the touch. Let's talk about 4 things with this phone. Number 1 is design, screen, battery, and performance. Those details are very important in the case of a $178 phone. First of all, the design. I really like the design of this phone. Yes, it's plastic, but it's proud to be plastic, and you cannot really feel it. So if you touch the phone and you play around with this phone and you hold it in your hand, it feels semi-premium is what I would call it. It has aluminum sides, but the back is this kind of like frosted glass feeling of plastic, and it's proud to be this. So I really enjoyed using this phone throughout the week that I had the chance to. Now, the camera is unique. It's uniquely Poco. The camera bump, it's huge. Yeah, it might be one of the points on the phone that is not my favorite, but I cannot complain much about it. You have the power button and the volume button on the same side, USB-C, speakers, SIM card slot. On the top, you have microphones. You have an IR blaster in it, and you have a 3.5mm headphone jack. Very rare to have these, but I guess in the budget-friendly category, you need to still have a headphone jack because a lot of people who are budget conscious might not purchase Bluetooth headphones. If I look at the design from the front, it's a beautiful little design. I have nothing to complain. The bezels are quite small and they are like symmetric. So the same amount of bezel on the top as on the bottom and the same on the sides as well. So all in all, I think this is a very, very good package. And I got the purple version over here, which I quite like. I think it's a great color. It looks awesome, especially in daylight. And I cannot really complain. In the box, you get the complimentary case as well, but I opted not to use the case because, you know, a little bit of a different vibe. Purple, I like. Now the other thing, the screen. This is a 120 Hertz AMOLED display, and I'm so surprised to see this on such a cheap phone. It's crazy. It's crazy that we are in an age where you get an AMOLED display, under-screen fingerprint sensor for $178. That is just mind-boggling. So this is a 120 Hertz FHD Plus Eye Care AMOLED display. When you launch the phone and when you set it up, you have to set it to 120 Hertz. On default, it's on 60 Hertz. I prefer to use the 120 Hertz, even if it uses a little bit more battery. I think nothing can beat 120 Hertz. In terms of dynamic range on the screen, it's quite good with good viewing angles, with great contrast. It's 5:1 contrast ratio. It's a 6.67-inch display, so it's quite nice, quite big. The resolution is 2400 by 1080p, and it's a 394 ppi, so it's quite high resolution. You're not going to see much pixels on this display, so I think it's one of the best parts of this phone, the screen itself. It's just gorgeous. It's good. And it gets super bright. So it's 1200 nits, but its maximum brightness can go up to 2100 nits in like outdoor places. So if you're outdoors and you want to see your phone, you can actually see your phone. You can actually see your Poco M7 Pro. When you're gaming with it, when you're just doing your daily stuff, the 120 Hertz, the ultra bright display really adds to a premium feel with such a budget category, in my opinion. And you're not really realizing that this is one of the cheapest phones you can get, but the value proposition is just insane. It's out of this world. Now, another thing unique is that we're talking about a budget phone and we get a power adapter in the box. It's a 45-watt power adapter, and the battery inside this device is a 5,110 milliamp battery. That means that this phone is going to last you all day. According to all of my tests and all of my usage based on this past week, it works, and it works good, and it works long. Anytime I use the phone throughout the day, GPS, location, photos, etc., it lasted the full day with 30, 40, even sometimes 50% left over by the end of the day. So I was very happy with the results of the battery life. You're not going to have any issues with that whatsoever. Now let's talk about performance. This is a Dimensity 7025 Ultra. It's a 6-nanometer manufacturing process. It's an octa-core up to 2.5 gigahertz. The GPU is quite okay as well. You can actually do some gaming on this. Now, there are two versions. You can have the 8GB RAM with 250 gigabytes of storage or 56 gigabytes of storage, and you can have the 12 gigabytes of RAM with 256 gigabytes of storage. Now, it does have memory extensions, so you can put an SD card in there and you're going to have more memory in there or storage in there. And the performance is okay. It's not going to be the latest and greatest and the best performance you're going to see on a flagship device, but for what you get, it is, really powerful. You can play very graphically demanding games on this device without any problems, without any hiccups. According to all of my tests, all of the games that I played with it, it works flawlessly. I did not really see stutter. It did start to heat up after an hour of playing, half an hour of playing, but that's normal with any kind of phone. Now, this phone in reality is going to get everything done for you. So if you are just an average user, and probably the budget conscious person who actually buys this phone is a light user. They don't do demanding high-end stuff. And for that, this phone is exceptional. What a great value you get for your money. It is running HyperOS 1.0, that's built on Android 14 at the moment, and it works flawlessly. Now, when you open the phone or you start up first, there is a lot of bloatware on there, but you can just remove that. It's not a big hassle. I think the stock apps are great. Everything runs smooth. Everything is controlled very easy. Performance, especially when you turn on 120 hertz display, looks snappy and quick. Done with the basics. Let's go to the camera. This is a 50 megapixel camera, and it's a Sony sensor. What I realized with the pictures is you're not going to win awards for it, but it's going to get the job done. It is missing a little bit of dynamic range, but with good lighting and outdoor environments, for example, or bright situations, the camera is really capable. So you're going to do very good, above average pictures. For an average person, an average user is great. Low light performance is a little bit wobbly, but I think that's fine. At this price range, you cannot expect it to do full-time nighttime photography. And I think it is exactly what someone would expect from a phone like this. Another tidbits that I need to talk about with this phone is, first of all, it has Dolby Atmos stereo speakers. It has IP64 dust and water resistance, water protection as they call it, 300% volume boost, which is really cool. This phone can get really, really loud. It also supports NFC. It has an in-screen fingerprint sensor, as I have said, face unlock, and IR blaster. I really, really missed the IR blaster vibes. And as you can see, I have, oh no, actually you can't see. There's an AC right up there. Now with this phone, I can just point it at the AC and I can turn it on. So I go into, you have Mi Remote over here. I already set it up. Boom. AC turn on, AC turn off. From the phone because of the IR blaster. I think that's, every phone should have this. Every freaking phone should have this. You can, use this for your TV, for your whatever you need. There's a lot of things you can set it up with. I think the IR blaster is one of those things that I don't know why all phones don't still have it. And of course, this device is AI ready. So it's got Google Gemini built in. It has Google Assistant converted to Google Gemini now. So all of your AI questions and queries and whatever you have is going to be perfectly handled with this phone. So what is my final thought on this device is exactly that. Good phones are very, very expensive, and cheap phones are very, very good. Especially this one, the Poco M7 Pro 5G, is such a high recommend for me. It's a no-brainer, to be honest, from my side, because at this value, you get so much phone in a quite nice design, a very comfortable design with lots of features and just an exceptional experience. So it's a high recommend. This video was sponsored by Best iPhone Accessories. If you're looking for any iPhone accessory, check out bestiPhoneaccessories.com. You're gonna find chargers, cases, cables, whatever you need. BestIPhoneAccessories.com has it. So check out bestiPhoneaccessories.com.